live taping, perhaps the first ever, of evening's LALATE check. The first time I've ever gone live. The reason, because there's so much breaking across the board. The video right before this was a live recording of Being a Bitch, a little bit late than usual, which went over the deal provisions of the second stimulus package. That's the video right before this, went over all the deal provisions of the second stimulus package, and they're very good deal provisions in there. There is one in there for rent, one in there for food, one in there for SNAP, one in there for EIDL grant. There's some incredible, great deal provisions that took everyone from surprise. Right this afternoon, normally we go from holidays LALATE into then into being into afternoons LALATE check, and then purple, and then Being a Mitch, but so much broke that I had a special report, and then I went into Being a Mitch live minutes ago, going over all the deal provisions. But what I'm doing tonight is that this video is going to be only about the check, how to get the check, how to not to get the check, who gets the check, how much is the check, where is it going to come, where is it going to land, all the questions only about the check, nothing else but the check. If you're wondering about the deal provisions of the second stimulus package, that's the video right before this, Being a Mitch. It just went live. It's now viewable, archived on the channel. After this video will be Purple Power Live, as always. That'll be about your state stimulus. So with that, let me get to your check questions and your check concerns. I've already seen your stimulus check questions right off the bat. And here's what you need to know for the second stimulus check. Second stimulus check would be coming to an adult. It will also be coming to a married couple. It'll also be coming to a child. The way the check is going to come, who is going to get the check, how do you apply for the check, how about the banking account, how about the routing, how about all that? I'm going to go over all that right in a second. First, if you watch the video right before this one and the one before that, I read on air the language of the press release from Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, and it does not state that adult dependents don't get a stimulus check. Now, that's quite interesting. Does that mean that they do get the stimulus check? Does it mean they don't get the stimulus check? Really not clear. I don't know what to say. There are other parts of their press release that also are vague, but the fact that that is not put in there is promising. I do know this next fact as true, which is they have not written the bill yet. They have not written the bill, and they may have intentionally left that vague, but here's my guess. My guess is it has been decided. Why? Because if you were to add a group of people you did not add before, the value of the total package rises. Thank you for the super chat. The total value of the entire package rises. So if you had a package of $10 and then suddenly you're adding adult dependents who weren't in there before, the package may rise to $11. And so I don't know if they have agreement to grow the package by a couple billion dollars, if they're adding adult dependents or not. Really don't know. So let me go over who would get a stimulus check based upon, thank you, Connie, for the super chat, based upon the presumptions of where we are right now. If you're a single adult, you'd get a stimulus check. If you're a married couple, you get that same check but double the amount. If you're a child, you would get a stimulus check of the same amount, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And then how many people in the house, how many children get the checks, that is all over the place. And we've actually had reports today they can't agree upon that. So that would suggest maybe there is room for this. There was one report that yesterday said it was only 2 children. And then there was a report today that said unlimited children. Well, wait a second. Limited children grows the bill very quickly. So, 2 children is this and limited children's that. So which one is it? This may be promising for the issue of adult dependence if they can't agree upon the number of children. But, and they have done that before. Nancy's HEROES Act had a family of 5. Trump had a family of 4 during the summer. Steve Mnuchin had a family of 3 at one point. So they keep on changing how big this family is. Next, I want you to understand that the following has nothing to do with the eligibility of the stimulus check. I'm on SSI. Who cares? You get a stimulus check. Who cares you're on SSI? SSI is not and I say it in the nicest way, but I have gray hair. I have purple hair. I have red hair. Do I get a stimulus check? Yes. And the fact that you're on something does not mean that you don't get it. But I know that's a big question. Why do I know it's a big question? Because in April, when I had 20,000 viewers of this channel, 5 minutes ago, this channel reached 350,000 subscribers for a channel that started on April 25th of this year, which is breaking every single YouTube record of mankind. No one has ever seen growth of this ever in the history of YouTube. But when this channel only had 5,000 or 10,000 viewers in May or June, I made a video that said SSI and SSDI viewers get stimulus checks, and that the fact that you're on SSDI, SSDI, Social Security, rental benefits is not a disqualifier for a stimulus check. It's the fact that some of you may not have gotten the first stimulus check because you're an adult dependent. The adult dependent is the factor, not the SSI and SSDI. The fact that you're on SSI and SSDI means nothing for eligibility. It's the adult dependent is why you didn't get a first stimulus check. That video from April is now one of the most watched videos ever in financial videos. It has over 2 million views, and it's the most watched stimulus video ever of any stimulus channel ever. Of course, this is the most watched stimulus channel on YouTube, but that is by far the most watched stimulus video ever at 2.5 views. So let me repeat again. If you are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, senior, retiree, you get a stimulus check, provided you're not an adult dependent. We don't know if they're going to exclude the adult dependents, but I have a lot of viewers who are on SSI, SSDI, file their own tax return. All right, so we got all that clear. I always have this question. I just had a newborn baby. Does the baby get the stimulus check? The IRS has to know there's a baby. The IRS has to know there's a baby. What if I adopted a kid? The IRS has to know you adopted a kid. They have to sort of know these people exist. They don't know they exist, then, it's sort of a surprise to them. Then let me go over relationships. I'm married to someone, but we broke up because he cheated on me during COVID, during the lockdown. IRS sees you as married. You're still married. How about I'm engaged to someone and we're getting married next week. They see you as still single. It's based upon what they saw you doing last time you filed a tax return. So the last time you filed a tax return was in March of this year, and you were married to Dorothy. And since March, you have been married to Jessica, got divorced, and have now married to Luann. Well, they see you as still married to the first person in April, into March. So congratulations on your ability to get remarried really fast, but they see you as married to the last person. So unless they know otherwise, they presume what you are, how you were in March. Then I get questions about things are about to change. They don't care they're about to change. The IRS sees you as how they saw you in April or the last time you filed a tax return. So think back, what did the last tax return say? It said I was single and I was deducting the dance club in Atlanta at 2 a.m. every morning. That's how they saw you. And now you're married with 3 kids in 4 months. Well, congratulations. They don't see you that way. They see you as single because you haven't told them you're married. That is how it works. Jesus is coming for you. So it's just said in the comments. Unemployment, I'll be covering. I'll see if I have time for unemployment later in this video. Now, the question that then kicks in is how to receive the check. This is a big one. How do I receive the check, and when do I receive a check? Ironically, how do I receive the check? It was like a Mack truck hit my DM. Suddenly all the messages started coming in. Oh my God, I changed the bank account. Am I going to get the stimulus check? And I just divorced my wife. Am I going to get the stimulus? She's going to get the check. I'm not going to get the check. All those comments started coming in. It was like a Mack truck. And I was just like, oh God, I knew this was going to happen. I sent this back in July. So I re-reviewed the eligibility criterion on the IRS's website. If you want to look it up, you can look it up as well. It's on track my payment or where's my payment for the IRS. IRS is the determinant on how you get your stimulus check. Let me go over this. I know I'm going to get 9,000 questions about because it's very complicated. If you are on, if you are a veteran, if you're a veteran, you don't have to do anything. They know where you are. They're going to send it to you the way you get your veterans benefits paid. That was an agreement the VA made with the IRS in March. Veterans, you don't have to do anything. It's going to come the same way you get your veterans benefits. Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA, railroad benefits, and similar. If you were on benefits in 2019, you don't have to do anything. They know where you are because they're sending you benefits every month. You don't have to do anything. They know where you are. Who has to potentially do a non-filer filing? Is someone who never filed a tax return in their life and just went on benefits like last month or 2 months ago or 3 months ago and did not get his first stimulus check. If you just went on benefits like, 2 months ago, never filed a tax return, they don't know where you are from the last stimulus check, do a non-filer filing right away. If you got a first stimulus check and it went to the right place, you don't have to worry about anything. If you got a first stimulus check, you don't have to do anything. They know where you are. Another person that has to do a non-filer filing is if you have a child, if you are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits and have a child, and the child the IRS does not know about, you need to do a non-filer filing for that child as well. Again, how do you know if the IRS doesn't know where the child is? One, the child did not get a first stimulus check. Two, you aren't filing anything with the IRS to tell them the child exists and the child is here. And three, that the child is within your dominion. I always get these complicated questions. The child is my dependent, but my wife has custody. It's for purposes of taxes, not for purposes of custody. So if the child is your dependent on your tax return, you're getting the check. I get these questions all the time. And it's always the person who's really pissed off about the situation. I have custody. Why is the ex getting the check? Because the ex declares him on the tax return. Then I have people that say someone declares you as child as their dependent and you disagree with it. IRS doesn't care. They're going to send it to the person who's declaring it as the dependent. Next, if someone else receives your benefits, direct, what is it called? Direct payments. Thank you for the super chat. If someone receives your SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefit checks for you, and then gives them to you every month, like your daughter or your son or someone else, or a third party gets your checks for you, then that person will get your stimulus check. Again, I'll say it again. This is a big one. If you have a designated pay, that's what we call it, designated pay for your benefits, that person will get your stimulus check, not you. You see how this is, I'm sure people's heads are starting to spin like, wait a second, this is a lot of, oh God, well, I didn't anticipate this. I see the things about the closed bank accounts. I'm getting to that one also. The closed bank accounts. I'm a couple of these I had to look up before I went on air because I haven't made this recording in a while. Okay, if the IRS knows you electronically by a bank account and you've closed that bank account, I don't care why, whatever, the girl you were dating just, or the ex-husband, or the dog walker, whatever reason the bank account's closed, and they don't know that bank account. This is what the IRS's website says. The IRS's website says if you would have received, the IRS says it will send the payment to the closed bank account. It will fail, and once they get back a message of failing, then they're going to send out the stimulus check by mail, paper-wise. So A, they better know where you are for paper-wise. Don't mess up the address. If you moved also, that's also a really big problem. And two, you have to presume this is going to add an additional week or 2 weeks on these things. So it's going to send the check to the bank. It's going to take about a week for the bank to reject it, and then they're going to send out the check in the mail. A lot of twist. I think I've covered it. All right, now let me answer some of your questions. Ella, you're the man, bro. I appreciate it. This is your payee. Yeah, the payee would get it. What if he's in jail? Oh God. There is this whole thing of who's eligible. Undocumented citizens, prison inmates. I don't know how they're going to finish that language. That's a very political issue. Nice jacket. I appreciate that. Will the recent deceased dead get the... Okay, so we got a dead person question. Will the recent deceased dead get the stimulus? Yeah. So the IRS thinks the person's alive, then it's going to go where the person's dead last address is. If you're the widower of that person, then that person you will get the check, and if you're the trustee or something of the estate or something, you're fine. So be it. Garnishments. Okay, yeah. So all the questions about is it taken out for child support? Is it taken out for garnishment? I don't know. Those are sort of the tough. Someone's commenting about the hair. Those are really tough questions. I don't know where those are going to land. I presume no. I presume a big no on those. I presume they're not going to take it out. Thank you for the super chat. But we don't know all those details. What would I do without you, LA? This is a big question, and you could not believe it. I mean, they announced the deal, and then suddenly the DM started hitting. The bank accounts closed, and my sister, and my brother, and my uncle. Can we track the stimulus check? I don't know yet. How soon should we see the checks? Oh, I haven't done that. Okay, let me go over routing times. Okay, so routing times. Here you go for the routing times. This is Steve Mnuchin's representation. Again, this is Steve Mnuchin's representation, not my representation. So smile or smirk when you hear that, because you know what that means. Steve Mnuchin represents that you can receive the payments within 10 days after it becomes law. I just know as soon as I'm saying that, people are just opening up the calendar and looking at the calendar right now, because I'm not even finished with the sentence and they got the calendar in front of them. Now, some banks for direct deposits may add 1 to 3 extra days on top of it. But Monday is the 21st. It's not going to get done by the Monday. 22nd is Tuesday. So 10 days from the 22nd means it's around like January 2nd, January 3rd for electronic receipt. And then you would add an additional week if we're talking about paper checks. And then everyone that's difficult, change the bank account, close this, then you're going to see longer times. If you got an EIDL loan, is there an EIDL? Can you still get a grant, and how? Yeah, let me answer that question. I'm sort of getting the filtered back questions from the video before, because there's so much going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you got an EIDL loan anytime between May and now, and did not get a penny for the grant, you presumably will be getting the grant. So that's the answer to that question. What if I paid the IRS recently from a new account? That's good. Then it'll probably be the new account. Any hazard pay? No, there's no hazard pay here. No hazard pay. No $2,400 SSI. What's with the Rod Stewart comments tonight? The Rod Stewart. Okay, he's wonderful. I got the first check. Oh boy, comments. Oh, there's 2,700 people in here. I got the first check on a prepaid card with the new stimulus check. Will be put on the same card, or they send a new card. Uh, no, the card thing was the card thing was a fix. Oh, thank you for the super chat. The card thing was a fix for some people who didn't get the first stimulus check. So I presume they would just do it by mail to you. So will people get $9,000? They won't. Oh, I'm getting the remainder of the $10,000 grant. Yeah. So I know we're all talking about, we love that EIDL grant. The Okay, 5 EIDL questions in a row. Okay, so let me answer all the versions of EIDL. One, if you never got the EIDL grant, you'll presumably get it now if you went through the process and never got a penny from it. Two, the remainder of the EIDL grant, if you went through the process and got some EIDL, you would presumably get the remainder of the EIDL come February when Javita goes scarf shopping for the rest of her life, where she's gone. You're not going to get the remainder of the $10,000 grant with Javita Carranza there, Javita Late. Do I have to bring back Javita Late? I think I do. You will not get the remainder of the $10,000 grant while she's there, which is about the next 5 weeks. After that, yeah, that's the purpose of her being gone. Can you get another EIDL for the same business? I don't presume you can, but the way this Schumer press release is written, maybe it's a little bit weird. Because he's talking about another round of PPP. Is there another round of EIDL? Really unclear. Okay, my granddaughter is 19, was a dependent on my daughter and son's return in 2019, and now she is working full time. Will the IRS know that? My granddaughter is 19. She was a dependent on my daughter's tax return in 2019. Now she's working. Well, no, I mean, for Violet, no. Violet, the very simple answer is, what does the last thing the IRS knows for purposes of a tax return? And let me just make this clear for everyone. The IRS looks at the tax return. The IRS doesn't know anything else. The IRS just looks at the tax return. So, does the IRS know my daughter got engaged yesterday to her high school boyfriend? No, the IRS doesn't know that. This is not the love collection. This is the IRS. Does the IRS know my daughter ran off with her high school sweetheart? No, the IRS doesn't know these things. They only know what is put on the tax return. So if the last thing you have given them was a 2019 tax return, they're going to pull the 2019 tax return and say, she was single and she was deducting a Ford Pinto. Wait, they don't know she married a billionaire this year and they have 3 kids and they have 5 Lamborghinis? No, they don't know that until they get that next tax return. Is adult dependence qualified yet? We don't know that question. Is adult dependence getting the stimulus check? We don't know that question. Wow, so there's 2,900 people in the room. So let me recap where I started this video at, which is the following. The stimulus check, this is a stimulus check video only. I'm only answering stimulus check questions with the exception of the EIDL. And the video before, I went over all the deal provisions. But as to the stimulus check, we have literally one sentence from Chuck and Nancy. And the sentence omits anything about adult dependence. It doesn't say they don't get it. It doesn't say they do get it. This is the sentence. Democrats secured a new round of direct payments worth up to $600 per child and adult, also ensuring that mixed status families receive payments. That's it. It's like, okay, what does that mean? It doesn't say anything about adult dependents. It doesn't say how big the family is. Family of 5 dependents, 10 dependents get a stimulus check, 2 dependents get a stimulus check. It doesn't say anything. So we don't know. And the reports tonight confirm that the bill is not written. So they have either intentionally left it blank because they haven't written it, or have left it blank because they don't want to piss us off. Really hard to tell. That's the first thing. Second thing, if you're just joining me, wow, 3,000 people in the room at the 24-minute mark, is second, the check would take about 10 days to go out for electronic receipt. If you're signed up for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, IRS benefits, or something like that. If you're not, you would add an additional week for a paper check. the IRS will be going off of the last information you provide in your last 2019 tax return. If you got your first stimulus check and nothing has changed in your life, you have nothing to worry about. Um, and the same thing for your child. If the child got the first stimulus check and nothing has changed, nothing to worry about. If you changed bank accounts and they do not have the new bank account, then they will attempt the old bank account. It will fail, and then they'll send it by paper check. Um, there is, and then if you newly went on benefits this year and did not get a first stimulus check, then you really should do a non-filer filing. What is a mixed family? Mixed status families. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I don't want to say anything really bad either because when I don't know something, I just stay away from it. I don't know what that means. Um, oh, and then lastly, anything about yourself is not a disqualifier. So, um, I'm disabled. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm married. I'm senior citizen means nothing. I'm on VA. It doesn't mean anything. The only thing that you need to be concerned about is adult dependence. Are you a dependent on someone else's tax return? Thank you for the super chat. Are you dependent on someone else's tax return? Other than that, you have nothing to worry about. Are children are adult dependents on SSI? Will he get it checked? Adult child dependent on SSI. Will he get a check? Don't know. So it's the same issue. Will adult dependents anywhere get a stimulus check? We really don't know. Our pets are dependents. They are dependents. Is there mortgage assistance? There was no mention of mortgage assistance in here. There was mention of eviction moratorium, and there is rent. If you want to learn about the deal provisions of the bill, watch the video right before this. I have a feeling on Purple Power Live, which comes right after this. I may have to go back over the deal provisions if you want to go over them again, because this, I guess now with 3,000 people in, a lot of this may be breaking. I made so many recordings today, I don't know if people are up to date or if it's just a lot to process. What if you got custody of the kids after the first stimulus? Samantha. So yeah, this is my answer for everyone, because this is the answer. It's whatever the IRS knows. If the IRS doesn't know it, doesn't make a difference. I got custody. IRS doesn't know that. I got married yesterday. IRS doesn't know that. I broke up with my wife yesterday. IRS doesn't know that. Whatever the IRS knows, 350,000. Thank you. Whatever the IRS knows, that is how it flows. If they don't know it, they're not going to do it. EIDL is for single, is for small, is for anyone from an Uber and Lyft driver, Airbnb, sole practitioner, Schedule C return, $2, $5. I don't care how much is on that Schedule C. So long as it's Schedule C in the 2019 return, you can go get an EIDL. And it can also be if you have an incorporation or an LLC. If you have 5 businesses with separate tax returns, you can have 5 EIDLs. Will my second wife from Moscow get a check? What? Wait a second. Will I get a paper check after my account is closed? Absolutely. My second wife from Moscow. Why would the second, is this, I don't know. I missed the second wife from Moscow question. I don't understand what the second wife. The second wife from Moscow. When will the money come? 10 days from the day in which it becomes law is what Steve Mnuchin's representing, plus additional week for paper checks. How much? $600. But again, this is not law. I mean, I've not said that in the last 30 minutes. This is not law. This is a proposal. It's a bill, but it's not law yet. 3,000 people in the room. Will foster kids get a check? If they're less than a certain age and they appear on your tax return, yes. Do they have to vote? They will not be voting on the bill tonight. Yeah, that's a great question. So they're not voting on the bill tonight. No one is voting on the bill tonight. Thank you for the super chat, Gary. That's really quite nice. Who is it? That was thank you, Gary. Very, very kind. They are not voting on anything tonight. They're doing an extension to Tuesday that's presumed to pass, and then after that, they will take it up for negotiations tomorrow and Tuesday. My wife and kids have not gotten their SSNs yet. They're from the Philippines. Um, that doesn't make a difference if they're on your tax return. Again, whatever's on the tax return. Um, Unemployment ended today. So how do I? Okay, so let me answer just a quick few questions about UI, and then I'll come back on Purple Power Live in 10 minutes after this. So your UI and PUA would be reactivated. I don't care if it's inactive. I don't care what it is. It's going to be reactivated. You're going to be back to good. There will be a delay in getting money, and then you'll start getting $300 on top of that starting in a few days from now. But that entire payment schedule will kick in a few weeks. You're not going to get it right away. Eviction moratorium is in the language. Rent is in the language. EIDL grant is in the language. SNAP and PPP and stuff for minorities as well. And there you go. Hello from the Philippines. Well, I appreciate that, Freddie. And with that, thank you for joining me for a special live taping of Evening's Check. Join me in about 5 minutes after this. Let's just take a short break, and I'll come back for Purple Power Live to answer questions about state stimulus, but I think we might be talking about all this as a recap. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.